one of the pieces in here that I think is very relevant to today's discussion is that Gen AI uses information that already exists. Now, I think there's some research out there about it being predictive, but that's not my area of knowledge, frankly, and maybe that's something for us to touch on today.
Jump into a first poll. We can any thoughts from the group?
I think that I want to pull forward a couple of things that we talked about when we were prepping for this call, and then sentiment that I think that I'm hearing in a couple of different folks as well is that, like, how we're trying to solve for a problem, there's like this end state, and we're trying to solve for this thing over here without exactly knowing how or if generative AI, Gen AI is the right solution for that. I know in our organization at Menasha, we're in this learning place, we're in this cultural shift place. We're still helping leaders in the world of coaching. And so like that aspect of like teaching leaders how to be empathetic, how to lean into like the human aspect of leading people and not leading work. Generative AI can help in things like I can put in some basic information about a team member who is maybe lacking in a certain skill set, and then it can actually pump out a pretty good foundation for a development action plan.
So our second poll is, what's your primary goal when it comes to integrating AI into your HR processes?
Some of the items I've seen is for skills development. So how can we go through and identify the people that we currently have? What are the skills that we think that we're going to need? And then let's see if we can create a plan with that. So some of those items from an HR standpoint are really geared towards skills development right now, but how are we going to apply that with succession planning? Because there has been a lot of movement over the last 2 years with people leaving and transitioning and with the pandemic. So we've got all kind of things kind of coming into play.
Gen AI it's shiny objects, and a lot of these tools aren't totally proven out yet. And so we're trying to figure out who's adopted it and what are your lessons learned. So that'd be a good understanding from the folks on the phone. Has anyone tried it? What's worked? What are you finding are the bugs in it? So we're trying to find out from those people that have gone before if, and cost is a big factor, especially if you're a mid-size org.
Allison, based on what you just described there, I actually think that leads into our third poll too, which is what are some words or phrases that describe both the potential benefits or the limitations?
Michael Bryan has an interesting point about keeping the human in the loop.
The AI can help you dig deeper into your talent pools, maybe identify candidates that you wouldn't have thought of, or that might be non-obvious for the position that you're promoting them into or moving them into. But you still need the human in the loop to make those decisions, not just for compliance and liability reasons, but just for the fact that the technology is not perfect. So just having a person in there in the loop to validate the decision. I mean, there's a lot of research on performance of AI versus human and different tasks, and over again, it shows up that human plus AI outperforms AI alone or human alone in all sorts of domains.
And I'd like to add a little bit more about the bias conversation. I'm just going to refer to Charles Whelan's book here. It's called Naked Statistics, Stripping the Dread from the Data. Even the data that we're talking about, putting into a model or having the model refer back to, even that data, the origin of that data has bias in it, and it's called selection bias. And so it means that only the people who responded are providing you information. But what about all of those who didn't respond? So we have to be, I think, very cautious and careful with thinking that we're eliminating bias when we ask the AI to look at the data, because there is bias there. It's just what kind of bias is there.